What is up, everyone? Welcome into M&M Across the Board. Ashley Miller, Eric McDowell, Sean Martin with you again this week. And guys, we have both of our finals, or not both of our finals matchups set. In the NHL, we have both of our conference finals matchups set. In the NBA, we have our finals matchup set. And then we're going to do a fun segment. We like to throw in a little bit of fun, maybe non-sports related stuff every once in a while. So we're going to have some fun this week. What's up, guys?
Enjoying my coffee. It's Tuesday, long weekend over. Good one.
Yep.
Hotter than all hell out there, but okay.
Weather held up on Sunday. Hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend.
Yeah, how was the holiday weekend?
It was good.
We took our daughter to Legoland in New York.
I saw that.
And
how was that?
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous because it was the cloudy, drizzly day, no lines. But what a wonderful place. And John, I can't recommend it enough for the boys of the ages, ideally like 3 to 7 years old. But Sarah makes it fun wherever we go.
Yeah, we talked about it. We had friends of ours 12, 13 years ago. We used to always have a Christmas party, the 3 couples and say the 6 of us. Well, now it's the 11 of us, and number 12 is about 3 weeks away. So we decided we wanted to start having an annual cookout. And we decided it in like the fall of 2019, and in Memorial Day of 22, we finally had it.
Good.
Without COVID and whatnot. So it's kind of nice to get everybody together and see all the kids playing so well.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I worked. So it was
you worked.
And sure, coverage was great of a potential national champion in our area.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I was in Hartford on Sunday for the Division III National Championship. Really cool atmosphere, Union RIT. The Liberty League.
Yeah,
flexing their muscles a little bit here. But yeah, and then yesterday I worked. I'm off starting tomorrow though. Got a long weekend coming, so no complaints about not being able to enjoy Memorial Day weekend.
No, not with all the time off you get. I don't know. I wouldn't want to hear any complaining.
Yeah,
and we
so
know what you'll be doing. You'll be watching a lot of hoop and hockey.
Yeah, we're going to Montauk. We're doing a little trip to Montauk. This was a birthday gift for me. So trip to Montauk, and then on the way back, we're hitting a concert at Jones Beach Friday night. That's the genesis of the trip, was the concert, but we're going a little early. Hanging out at a resort, enjoy some beach time.
Cool.
Just get away.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Did you guys watch the Ranger game last night?
I did.
I watched. For the first time, I probably watched from start to finish because I was at the station, and Memorial Day is pretty quiet sports-wise, so I watched start to finish. The Rangers are back.
I'm thrilled for them. I'm thrilled for me because I
know you hated the Hurricanes.
I hate Carolina. I don't like anything about them. I think their coach was a tough player and a bit whiny against the Bruins. I'm glad they're out. So now that just leaves one team that I absolutely detest, and that's Tampa. Colorado, Edmonton is going to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
At least for some of the talent on the ice. I don't know if it'll be a long series, but I love the Rangers, and good for them. They're down 3-1 against Pittsburgh in the first round. Mm-hmm. They rallied it up, and they went into Carolina against a team 6-0 in the playoffs at home, and Shesterkin played fantastic, and bang, conference finals. Good for them.
He is looking like an immortal playoff goalie that we grew up with. 37 in Game 6, 36 on the road in Game 7. Mm-hmm. Was he 1.16 into Game 7, 955 save percent. 3-0 during the season against the Lightning too. 3-0, 1.30 goals against. So good luck. This matchup between the two Russian countrymen, Vasilevsky and him, this will be epic. For those of us that like pitchers' duels, actually low-scoring games, I'm going to sit back and enjoy the two best goalies in the world right now, head-to-head. What do you think?
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, at this point, listen, Andrei Vasilevsky is a first-ballot Hall of Famer. He may go down as one of the greatest goalies of all time with the run he's on. If they win another this season, I'm not sure you could argue with it. He's been so good, and the reason that they've won the games that they've won. But yeah, Shesterkin, this is a guy who was pulled twice, I believe, in that Pittsburgh series because he got lit up. And listen, it happens. They'll tell you it happens to the best of them. It's not always on the goalie. Sometimes a move like that is just to swing the momentum back whichever way you can. But this is a guy who looks like those games are so far in the past, and he's back to his regular season self, which was the best goalie in the world.
There was a big debate before Game 5 against Pittsburgh as to whether or not they were going to play him.
Yeah.
given how bad he was. And
Mhm.
and you know what, goalies, sometimes it can become a mental thing. And if
Yep.
you're not on your game, you're going to get exposed. And for this really his first playoff pressure,
Mhm.
to rally back from a near benching, where I tell you, if he wasn't the best goalie in the league throughout almost any other goalie, maybe except for Vasilevsky, would have been Yank. But for him to come back and get himself together is remarkable. And there's a reason why he was in the MVP chatter too, during the regular season. He's that good.
Yeah.
Credit to the Rangers. I didn't see this coming, but there's two things. I think the best quote was Kreider, who has been on fire also. He said
he's been the difference for them.
Really has.
Offensively, a team that was kind of offensively sleepy, when that guy scores, that team wins.
Yeah, he's got the Messier feel with this team right now and the confidence. And his great quote, I keep calling ourselves cockroaches. We just don't go away. That's beautiful. But Gerard Gallant is a tremendous coach. If I recall, he was the coach of Vegas, the expansion team that all of a sudden made a cup run. So, there's a veteran coach there that has done it before. That team is hot, and they just turned Carolina into an embarrassment. Really, you can win all the road games or all the home games you want, but sooner or later you got to win on the road, as Sean said last week, and it finally caught up to them.
Yeah, listen, every game of that 6 games up to Game 7 had been won by the home team. But every game that Carolina had played, all their wins were at home and all their losses were on the road, which is, it's almost improbable. Like, you have to, at some point, you've got to win a road game, right? I get it. You have the home ice advantage, but at some point, somebody's got to win a road game. And it happened last night. And it was, to say that, I would say they dominated that game. You're up 2-0 early. Both games are power play goals. And I know so one of the big momentum swings in this game was the hit by Trouba, takes out Jarvis. He can't get off the ice. It's an extra man, or they've got too many men on the ice. They get penalized, and that's the second power play, and they go up 2-0. So that felt like it just kind of immediately, like 8 minutes in, you're up 2-0. That was a big part of kind of, for me, which felt like putting this thing away.
And he never came back, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. And that was a clean hit. I watched it 20 times this morning. He didn't leave his feet, didn't leave both skates at least. And that's the tricky part about Game 7s, where you could be dominant at home. The Canes were great in Game 7 against Boston. Bruins felt like never had a chance.
Yep.
Even when it was 2-1, it didn't feel like it was a winnable game. But last night, the Rangers came out on the road, took their business trip down in Raleigh, and they were thorough. And they done. That game was over even before Ranta got hurt.
Right.
But you got to give all the credit to the Rangers. They've been rebuilding this thing for a few years. Lafreniere has stepped up this year, a former #1 pick, and they set out with a rebuilding project, and here they are just a few years later in the conference final. I kind of like them. I hate Tampa. I'm never going to pick Tampa, but the Rangers seem to have that thing that we'll talk about another team in the NBA, that when their backs get to the wall, they respond.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a wonderful attribute for a club.
And this was against a team that I said, I'm like, it's almost like the Rangers playing the former Rangers. The Hurricanes are loaded with former Rangers. You look and it's like, hey, Brady Shea, Tony DeAngelo. Like, there's all these guys who used to play for the Rangers who were on that Carolina team. So it was kind of funny to see a bunch of guys going against their old teammates and giving it to them. Do you pick? Are they hot enough to beat the Lightning? I'm going to go no.
I agree. My head says Tampa in 5, but then after watching the Rangers, I can see that thing going 7. And the longer it goes, Sean, the better the Rangers have a chance. They're never in the hole the way they work. You got to get rid of them early, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what I like in this series for the Rangers, and it goes against common logic and reality in hockey, is rest is always best.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like the fact Tampa's been sitting around for a while. And the Rangers, even though they get one day off today and they're right back at it tomorrow, at least they're at home, they're not going to get that rest. But when you got that momentum going like that, sometimes rest is a bad thing. And then Tampa's going to have to come out. They got to kick the rust off the skates a little bit in first period and a half, however long it takes, and see if the Rangers can ride that momentum into Game 1 and see if they can get out with a win. But they're at home and with a red hot goalie and goalies, any great goalie can stop a good offense.
Yeah, and I know we've talked so much about these two goalies because, like I said, I think they're the best goalies on the planet right now, the two of them. So it's such an interesting matchup for those two to face off against one another. And yet, in some way, I think the goalies are more important in the other game because they're tasked with stopping two of the greatest offensive players on the planet in Nathan MacKinnon and Connor McDavid. Like, whoever stops one of those guys, that's probably the team that's going to win.
I saw a stat the other night. It's no longer valid, but McDavid had been on the ice for 38 goals this playoffs in, don't hold me to it, 261 minutes. Let's say.
Okay. Only
one other team in the league had gotten more goals as a team, and that was the Avs. That were over 40 in like 300 and whatever the minutes were. It was staggering. And just the ascension of McDavid from the best player to the game by, McDavid and McKinnon, I always felt maybe the two best. Mm-hmm. And as great as Nathan MacKinnon is, his goal in Game 5 against St. Louis, if you haven't seen it, it was a mad rush down the ice. He slid the pucks through his legs and roofed it. They gave him a 1-goal lead with about 2.5 left. They lost that game, but the difference between the two is staggering, and that's no slight to McKinnon. That's how good McDavid has become in this playoff run.
Look at what these two guys said also. I guess it's quote of the week for me, but Connor a few years ago, he said, I personally want to play in the playoffs. I'm not happy about it when they got knocked out. And then you got McKinnon last year after the loss to Vegas, which everybody was stunned about. He said, I'm going into my 9th year next year, and I haven't won blank S.T. Okay, so these guys have a chip on the shoulder. The Stars are getting it done. As you mentioned, McKinnon had 3 goals, 4 assists in the Blues series. Blues gave them a good run, a couple OT games, but McDavid and then Leo Draisaitl, 26 points each.
Yeah,
I would like to just see, Sean and I remember Bruins mini one-on-one intermissions. Just put McDavid and Draisaitl out there against the goalie and watch them play. Yeah. This is going to be a really fun series with deep teams and MVP caliber stars.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's interesting because at some point, these teams had to be bad in order to get the star players that they had. And these are two teams that haven't met since, like, I believe the time that these two teams met in the playoffs was 97 and 98. So it's been a long time since these two have met in the playoffs, but it's also been a long time since they've felt really relevant. And the last few years, these guys, Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon, and a guy like Cale Makar, they've helped elevate and take these teams to the next level. So I love kind of the comeback stories and the retooling that these organizations have done through good draft picks or trades and free agent signings, what they've done with both of their teams. They feel kind of similar in that way in the jobs that the GMs have done to get them to this point.
It's funny. Edmonton's made a living on having the first pick of the draft for a number of years. Taylor Hall, Ryan Nugent Hopkins. They hit it obviously with McDavid, and now it's working. But you got to give Joe Sakic credit too for what he's done in Colorado. Landeskog's a key player, but Cale Makar I think is the difference in this series. I got to see one of his first ever collegiate games for UMass when he played at RPI, and it was just like, whoa! No wonder he was the 3rd pick in the draft. I think his ascension, and I'm also going to throw props to another ECAC guy I wanted to mention before, Adam Fox for the Rangers to Harvard. I got to see one of his first games, and sometimes you can just tell.
Yeah. Right.
I think Makar is elite, and I think he's going to be the difference for them in this series. Goaltending is kind of a wash. They both can play well, and they both have holes. But I don't know if you can. Edmonton can expect to win games 9-6, but they're going to kind of have to. Something like that, 6-5, 6-4, something like that. But I like the Avs. They're just better all top to bottom, and Makar's the guy.
Yeah, you talk actually about, we think Colorado has still been good because they've been making the playoffs, but they've on 0-3 in second round series for 3 straight years. They've had their Maple Leaf unis on, and it's been since 0-2 for them, but they are deeper. They have the depth. I agree. It's going to be an offensive show, unlike the other thing here. And Edmonton reminds me of the pre-Islander dynasty. Watch out in the future. This team has arrived and the star is there and they've got the players, but I don't think they're there just yet. I do think the Avalanche will pull it out in 6.
Yeah, listen, the Avalanche has faced the fewest shots per game of any team in this Stanley Cup playoffs. That is going to change. They will see shots, and they will see a lot of shots because this is a team that gets up and down the ice fast. So I agree. I think the Oilers are here to stay. I just think the Avs are better right now.
Yeah, I just, for both those teams looking beyond, one of them's going to the finals. I'm trying to think, when's the last time somebody won a cup with average at best goaltending? So that's what I think both those teams have. That's what I like in the East.
No, it's totally true. They have average at best goaltending and the best offensive players in the world.
Yeah.
So it's like they're like you said, they have to outscore the other team because they're not necessarily going to stop a ton of goals when you have just an average goaltender. So yeah, you got to score 5, 6, 7 goals a game.
Yeah.
Which is what costs Carolina an average goalie. So that's a good point, Sean, because it's going to be really exciting to see the offensive team against the team that comes out of the East with the star goalie.
Right.
You talk about night and day there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And it goes, defense wins championships is the old philosophy that I subscribe to. It'll be interesting, no matter who it is. It's such a contrast in styles. It'll be fun to watch.
The most interesting thing about that to me is that we've seen a guy like Shesterkin give up goals in bunches. I think the problem becomes when you get a team like the Avs or the Oilers who are going to skate circles around you, you just get exhausted and then you leave your goalie hung out to dry. So I think the West has an advantage no matter who comes out of there, despite the fact that they're going to face the best goalie in the world, whoever comes out of the East. I just think that team will be exhausted out of the East, chasing guys around like a Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, Nicole McCarr.
You got to find a way to line them up and get a body on them.
Right,
You're going to see a lot of defensive, healthy scratches. They're going to have to keep them, 6 guys dressed one night, 2 other guys adding to the 6 the next night.
Yeah.
I really am excited, though, about Edmonton's future. I talked to my friend from Calgary. He's not a happy camper, but McDavid reminds me of Esposito and Draisaitl of Cashman, except he's faster than Esposito, but he's always around the net, and you got the guy working hard, getting the assist on the boards. So this will be so much fun to watch. It'll be late night, but it'll be worth it.
Yeah, all good.
Picks? Who are we picking?
For the Cup?
Yeah, no, just this round. We'll save that.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go Avs Lightning.
I'm going to say Avs and Rangers.
Okay.
I've got Colorado and Tampa Bay.
So Eric and I are on the same team here. We'll see.
Okay. Go Rangers.
I mean, I'll root for the Rangers for sure. I don't like the Lightning either.
I'm just lightninged out. They can take the rest of the summer off.
That's what happens. People become just kind of done with a winner.
If I rooted for the New York Rangers, as a kid, I would have been thrown into the bay without any life preserver. So I have to continue that tradition.
Yeah, the Rangers have been good like 3 times in my whole life.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's hard to root against. I got friends that are Ranger fans.
You should see the looks I get from my husband if I even mildly cheer for the Rangers. Doing it. He's a Devils fan. He thinks it's like blasphemy to cheer for the Rangers. I'm like, they're sort of my team. Like, I'm a Preds fan, but I'm a New Yorker. So I can get behind the Rangers, the Islanders. I don't care. And he was like, no, you can't do that. Like, that hurts me. He's like, that's like if I cheer for the Red Sox. I'm like, it's not the same.
Last point for me. Isn't it amazing the Rangers have home ice here?
Yeah.
They're making it sound like they were this low seed, and here they are. They've got home ice in the conference finals against the defending 2-time Cup champs. Talk about some powerful teams this year.
Yeah. The Rangers are second, Tampa third. So hopefully it works. Does Chris do the face painting like David Putty with the Devils sweater? No?
No face painting.
Okay. And not allowed, or by his choice or yours?
No, by his choice. I don't care what he does.
Okay.
He won't even wear a jersey to a game.
Really?
He thinks it's ridiculous when grown men wear jerseys.
Okay.
He'll wear a T-shirt jersey.
T-shirt jersey.
Yeah, like we wore the Herder T-shirt jersey, but he's like full-on jersey, like cut off sleeves or what? He's like, no.
Really?
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I don't own any longer. I got tired of investing my money and having the guy leave in free agency.
Even my T-shirt jerseys. They're all people that are no longer with whatever teams I got them for.
Yeah,
I got a Seth Jones Preds jersey. He got traded like 5 months later.
If I ever get a jersey, it's got to be for a former player that it's set. It's done.
Yeah.
You can't change it. Or
right.
A former Cornhusker or something. You can't change it. So
I got you.
We'll wear our Poppy jersey, of course, to his induction, but I've got a few other jerseys. She still has a Papelbon jersey in there somewhere.
Oh, woof.
Right. Hey, did you know? Now is the perfect time to get top dollar for your trade-in with the Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Same day check in your hand the day you trade in your vehicle. The new vehicle inventory continues to roll in at Mohawk Honda. And to follow the newest vehicles coming in, follow Mohawk Honda on their Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms. All of Mohawk Honda sales and leasing consultants will work with you to find the best vehicle for your budget and lifestyle. So visit Mohawk Honda in Glenville, New York this spring, summer, fall, winter. Mohawk Honda, where they always go out of the way to please you. And just a reminder, folks, here in the 518, don't forget the Albany Empire back home on Saturday, June 4 against the Carolina Cobras. Wonder if they whine as much as the Hurricanes. Godzilla Media will be hosting the pregame show starting at 3:30 live from the MVP Arena, and you can watch it on Godzilla Media's YouTube channel. Buy your tickets today at albanyempirenal.com.
I'll give one of my free tickets, Sean, to Ron Brindamore. How's that?
He's up.
Well, congrats. I think both of you picked the Celtics to come out of the East, right?
Yes.
Did you both pick the Warriors too?
I picked the Warriors at the start of the year.
You did at the start.
To get to the final.
What about now? So you stuck with them, right?
Phoenix. I thought Phoenix was going to get there. At the time, in my own defense, I was unsure of Steph Curry's health and availability starting the playoffs.
Yeah.
Which is why I would only be dumb enough to pick the Nuggets to beat them in the first round.
Yeah.
We'll go with that and see how wears.
Eric, first time in 12 years. That seems hard to believe because we're used to the Celtics being there all the time. First time in 12 years that the Celtics are in the finals. As a Celtics fan, how good does this one feel? And what is your feelings on the matchup?
What I think is that this is more of a team. It's not a one-star type of guy. Yeah. It's not just Bird. You had McHale off the bench and all that stuff, but you don't have the big three per se, but you've got even more depth than that. So I think this team in Boston throughout New England is more beloved right now because they were 25-25. They were in the water without a paddle and a broken little motor. And all of a sudden, this coach takes them under the wing and everybody steps up. And everybody has their big night. So I think this team is probably as beloved as the 04 Sox. There's no curse here, but it's the type of thing where you didn't see it coming. And right now they believe in themselves and the fan base believes in them too. So it's a wonderful story. I just want to tip my hat first to Jimmy Butler for the performance that he provided.
Yeah.
He ran out of gas right on that 12-second three-pointer. He played every second in that game. He's had 82 points in the last two games, including the 47 show with 11-11 in Game 6 at the line. So Jimmy Butler really, I think his back is hurting right now. Let's put it that way. But for the Celts, truly a remarkable story and a great comeback from where they were in mid-January.
Yeah, with Boston, they're the other team I referenced. Just when you think they have it in hand and they blow it in Game 6 at home against Miami and don't clinch and they got to go back on the road, they come up with that big performance. They're a resilient group, and it seems like most of the time they're their own worst enemy with the turnovers.
Yeah,
maybe just have mental lapses.
Yeah, it's just unforced errors all over the place.
Yeah, and that's not they got to clean that up. But when push comes to shove, they have found a way through two grueling series with three. I mean, New Jersey wasn't easy either. Brooklyn, whatever they call themselves. That's an impressive resume that they've put up in these playoffs. I think you might be leaning where I'm going with my pick, but it's going to be it should be a great series. I don't know what the start times are. I got to imagine them
8:30.
8:30. That's garbage.
Yeah, I think it
is.
Is it even 9? I think it's 9 on Thursday.
Yeah, but you know what? 9 becomes 9:15.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
And that sucks because there's no way I can record it and watch it the next day. There's no way I'm going to be able to sit down at 9 a.m. and not be informed. So,
right.
That's way.
Oh, yeah, if you're trying to avoid it. That's tough to do.
I can't do it. I can't do 9. It's just too busy in the morning, and that's too bad. And that's my old issue with the networks. you lose half the East Coast by halftime so the West Coast can get home and not miss the first quarter coming home from work. It's kind of backward.
I'll see more of it probably than you guys, just because I don't get out of work till 11 or 11:30, and I can watch it at work if I'm there. But listen, en route to the finals, the Celtics have beaten the 3 teams that knocked them out the last 3 years.
Really?
So the Heat got them in 20, the Bucks in 19, and the Nets in 21. So payback is a you-know-what, and it feels like this is the team that has used all of those losses. Every time that they've gotten knocked out, they've used that to motivate this group. But you're right, Eric. It feels like this group is just so beloved. And maybe it is because that doesn't mean that Jason Tatum is not a star. He's a freaking star.
Oh, sure.
He's a top 10 talent in the NBA at this point. Jaylen Brown is one of the best second options. And a guy like Marcus Smart, listen, you have the Defensive Player of the Year on your team. This is the quintessential, it's the definition of a team. And they're very similar in that way to a Golden State team. While Steph Curry is your star, they are built to go 1 through 6 or 1 through 7 even on the bench. They're deep. Both these teams are deep. I don't like them as much as I don't hate them as much as I hated the 04 Sox. I hate the 04 Sox. I actually kind of like this Celtics team. They're likable, and it's because you don't get that, Jason Tatum is quiet, Jaylen Brown is quiet. I think that helps because they just it's like they do their thing and they're fantastic at it, but they don't need to run their mouth and show it off and whatever. So that's why they are kind of more likable to me.
Well, we talked about Russ too, Sean, about Russ being off. I'll tell you what, right now, this is great. Very pleased to see the rest. Okay, this team needs a rest. They haven't had a multiple day off since May 7th. And you talked about these grueling series, every game like that. So that's a nice long chunk of the week that they get to rest. You got Smart and Williams can sit in the whirlpool and relax. Tatum needs a breather because his mileage on his cab is really high right now. So I think this is just what the doctor ordered, literally, for this team.
What I like about the Celtics here is a couple things. One, Smart can get out on the wing and play probably Steph, is my guess. Al Horford, 141 games, most in the NBA, finally makes the finals.
Yeah.
He has just reemerged. I think him and Green cancel themselves out, which leaves me the question that I don't know the Warriors can match up with Robert Williams. I think this biggest question is the health, and I think he could really devastate the Warriors down low in this series. I just don't think they can match him. The rest of the matchups seem okay, but I think Boston just has more, and Derek White in the backcourt too, coming off the bench. He played some big minutes in that Miami series. And, you have Jordan Poole, you have a few others for the Warriors. But I think the Celtics' depth, like you said, the Warriors go 1 through 6 or 7. The Celtics go to 8 and 9. And they all give you quality minutes. Even Peyton Pritchard, it seems like every time I look at him, I feel like they brought him in from a local Dunkin' Donuts to come and shoot some threes. He's a baller. He's a gamer. I love it. And it's like, where'd they get this guy? They just get contributions from whoever's on the floor, and that's been the difference in three tough rounds.
Yeah, you mentioned Poole. I think, listen, not to say that he doesn't get talked about, because he does. He's one of the best role players in the NBA at this point. But I think a guy like an Andrew Wiggins and a guy like a Jonathan Kuminga, I think those guys are a little bit underrated too. And so maybe the bench players get talked about more on Boston, but I still like what the Warriors have to offer. And obviously Wiggins is a starter. He's not a bench player. But a guy like Jordan Poole can come off the bench for them. So if you're talking Jordan Poole as your sixth man, that's the best sixth man in the game, in my opinion. The one thing that I like for the Warriors here, of many, is the experience. You've got a team that hasn't been to the NBA Finals in 12 years. This number is crazy. I saw this today. Golden State combined, so all of their players, finals game experience, 123 games of finals experience to 0 for the Celtics.
Yeah.
0. So having been there, and okay, 7 games is the most you could go in an NBA Finals. And they probably didn't all go 7, but you've got a guy like Steph, Clay, and Draymond who carry that load. Obviously, they carry most of it. But there still has to be some other guys in there who have experience. Iguodala, guys like that who have been there and done that. And I think that, to me, can be a difference maker when it comes down to it.
Well, this is the best defense I think the Warriors have faced in the playoffs.
Oh, absolutely.
Seriously, no question. And what I want to know, can Williams do what Jaren Jackson did for Memphis? He had 15 blocks against the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Now Golden State steps up their D because Draymond Green is back. But when Poole and Thompson and Curry are on the court together, I don't know how you match up. What screen door do you shut? Because the other will be left open. And the other key to me is Tatum. Obviously tremendous player, but he's got to cut it down. He had nearly 20 turnovers in the playoffs. That's a lot of free possessions for Golden State, and that's too many, honestly.
So we're doing picks here?
I'll offer up a pick if you two want to join the party.
Yeah, I'm going to go Warriors in 6.
MVP?
If I go Warriors, I got to go Steph.
Yeah. I'm going to take Boston in 7.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a classic series, an all-time classic. MVP, I'm going to say Robert Williams, and I hope he's just healthy to kind of validate that. But again, I don't think the Warriors can match him. They can. Everybody else seems to kind of flow, but not down low.
Well, since I don't want to jinx anybody, I'm going to pick the Warriors. I think they're healthier, more rested. That experience, Ashley, you talked about, and I think they'll take another title. I think it has to go 7, and the Bay Area will be rocking again. The Seals will be barking at Pier 19. It's a fun place to be in San Fran when they win a title. So to the Warriors behind me, of that horrendous team back then, I think they'd be very proud of this one, and the dynasty will return in the Bay.
No doubt. It's crazy to think, like, when I was growing up, the Warriors were a laughing stock. Nobody, there were no Warriors fans out there. Now they're in their 6th finals in the last 8 years, which is crazy because they had a pretty bad year stuck in there. Done only by the Bulls, the Lakers, and the Celtics. Those are 3 teams. You'd think Lakers, Celtics, greatest franchises of all time, and the Bulls are Michael Jordan. So that's pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just realized the Warriors were my team growing up when I lived out in the Bay Area. Rick Barry, 75 championship, got to live that. Now the Celtics are kind of the team I pull for being out east. So, like I said, I think we have a great series ahead of us. And
so you win either way.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's a battle of Sean Martin teams.
Okay.
You think Edmonton and Boston are similar? They get the experience this year and then watch out in the future?
Teams of destiny?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Who would you have expected more at the beginning of this season to make this run? So the Celtics were 50-1 to win an NBA title to start the season. They would be the biggest long shot to win in the last 35 years. My guess is the Oilers weren't 50-1. I don't know that for sure. I would think just because they have Connor McDavid, they would be more of a favorite than 50-1.
I would have played that, Sean, 50-1 for the Celtics.
50-1.
Yeah.
I wonder if that just having a rookie head coach coming in played into that.
Right.
How was that going to go?
Yep.
With Brad Stevens going upstairs, I would guess. Maybe I'll look it up. I would guess Edmonton was more of a long shot than 50-1.
Yeah.
That's just a guess because they had 0 playoff success to kind of build on.
Well, also like Boston was high because everybody anointed the East to Brooklyn at the start of the season.
Yeah.
Right.
How'd that work out for you? You looking it up, Ashley?
I'm gonna, yeah.
Yeah, look it up. We got to know.
I think we should.
Go ahead.
Now that we hooked everybody.
Yeah, you can't just.
I
mean, I don't know that I'll find it quickly. But we can start our next segment and I'll come up with it whenever I come up with it. How about?
Okay.
Do you have any more reads? No.
No.
Okay, perfect. So we are going to do a segment just for fun, the little ditty, so you can learn a little more about us. I'm excited to learn more about you guys because I'm sure some of this stuff I will not know. So we're doing something that's like 5 things you didn't know about me to give you guys an insight into maybe who we are, where we come from, whatever. Eric dropped out.
What happened? Where'd he go? Okay, I guess he's not going first.
He didn't want to be a part of it. But we can't start without him. This stuff would be so good.
All right, well, let's look up the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay. So this is odds for their plus 150 on the money line, but this is game 1.
Okay.
I'm trying to find preseason.
Let me take a look.
Yeah, go work your magic.
I'll see what I can do.
I'm not a big bettor, so I don't tend to, find these on the...
Got it.
Oh, that was quick.
Preseason odds. Edmonton. Plus 280 or 2,800 on 100 to win the cup.
So they're 28 to 1?
28 to 1, yeah.
Apologies, we got bumped.
It's okay. 28 to 1, Eric.
28 to 1.
Oilers.
Wow.
So not bad, but still almost the Celtics were almost 2 times the odds of the Oilers.
Yeah, I do think sometimes it has a lot to do with the favorites and other teams being poo-pooed off at the start of the season. And in the West.
Yeah, I think you're right, though. The rookie head coach,
Right.
They didn't look super impressive in their – I mean, listen, we said they got knocked out 3 times in the playoffs, and they didn't look super impressive in those runs. So I think maybe you think, all right, well, what's going to change next year? What have you added? What have you subtracted? Well, you subtract Brad Stevens, and I think maybe people put some emphasis on that. But, yeah, 28 to 1. Thanks, Sean.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that there was doubts whether or not Tatum, Brown, and Smart could coexist.
Right.
More earlier in the year, but I think,
I think last year that was the question. Like, can this work?
Yep. All right.
Who wants to go first?
I don't care.
Who has the most interesting life?
Oh,
I'll go if you want. I don't care.
go ahead.
All right. These are in no particular order, so you can comment as I go here. Let's start with, I'm a black belt in karate.
Really?
Yeah. So my whole family did karate growing up. Yeah, look out. My whole family did karate as I was growing up. So my dad and I started together, and then my brother and my mom joined. And I got my black belt when I was, I want to say like 7th grade. So I started pretty early. My dad is also a black belt. My mom and my brother got their brown with a black stripe, which is like high brown belt. So the belt before black, before we all ended up stopping because of my other commitments to sporting teams like softball, soccer, and everything else I played. So yeah, I'm a black belt. Haven't done it in a long time. It's a great workout. Great workout.
Can you go get us one of the banister with your foot? Just knock it right in half.
Oh, sure. You want me to do some board breaking?
Sure.
I should have brought some pictures along
Maybe
for the ride. I have my belt rack is downstairs in the basement, so it's got all my belts on it.
All right, let's make that one of these weeks.
Yeah, I could snap the whiteboard. I need one of you to come hold it for me, though.
Yeah.
No problem.
So yeah, self-defense. That was a big thing for my dad growing up. He wants you to be able to defend yourself. Well, I can. Number 2. So this is interesting, and I have to explain to people. People are always like, oh, isn't that kind of weird? My mom's brother married my dad's sister. So think about that for a second. Yep. Let it marinate. My parents got together first, and then their siblings started dating, got married, had kids. My uncle passed away last year, but I'm very close with my aunt. We are all very close because if you think about it, we're like doubly related. So I have twin cousins who people confuse for my siblings all the time, ask if we're related, which I always thought like, why we're just cousins, whatever. But it almost makes sense because we're almost as genetically identical as siblings. We don't have my mom and my dad's, they don't have my mom and my dad's genetic info, but they have the same family genetics on 2 sides. So we always do holidays at one place, either ours or theirs, because everybody comes.
It's a blast.
Yeah, kind of cool, right?
Step up my list here a little bit.
At first, people were like, "Isn't that incest?" And I'm like, "No, they're not related. Like they're."
You do a family reunion at every holiday. For us, it's every 10 or 20 years.
And that's what everybody comes. Number 3, I was born 6 weeks premature, so I was 4 pounds 8 ounces, a little peanut. I was in an incubator for a while, but my parents tell the story. So there were no such in 1986. I'm going to give away my age. In 1986, there were no such thing as preemie clothes. You didn't have clothes for preemies. So my parents bought a Cabbage Patch doll from the hospital gift shop and put the clothes from the doll on me.
That's awesome.
And I've turned out okay. I was in the hospital for a little bit, little jaundice, little whatever, but we did all right, right?
Sean, let's go find an Ashley Cabbage Patch doll.
Yeah, right.
I wish they like a picture of the doll or kept the doll. I don't even think they kept the doll. I think they were just like, we just want the clothes off of it. Number 4. This one is not that exciting. I'm obsessed with dogs. We don't currently have a dog, and every day I ask my husband if we can get a dog, to which he says, we don't have a fenced-in backyard. Our schedules are terrible. We can't get a dog. And I'm like, okay, I'll just enjoy everyone else's dogs. So we dog sit the neighbor dogs all the time. Every time I see a dog, Chris will be like, you're like, every time. I love dogs. My parents have a dog, Thor. He's a chocolate lab.
I'm gonna ask Gaz to title this. He puts all the titles on it for YouTube to say, "Get Ashley a dog."
Yeah, get me a dog. Last one I have. I'll show it to you here. Let's see if I can get it. An artificial dimple. Can you see it?
Actually, I can.
Yes.
Artificial dimple. I got hit in the face with a golf club when I was probably 10 years old. Full swing. Like, we're out in my backyard. We're at a family cookout, whatever. Me and my friend are messing around. My dad had a golf net up, so we're swinging clubs. She was swinging, and she was like, when I say a foot taller than me, she was a big girl. I turn around and literally walk into her full on, like, swing through right in the face. I remember it very vividly.
Sure.
Spent 8 hours in the ER. Wouldn't stop bleeding. They couldn't stitch it because it literally cut my eyelid. So, I mean, it hit me like square on here, but cut my eyelid and it wouldn't stop bleeding, but they can't stitch your eyelid. So they, scans and this and that, make sure I'm okay. I can see whatever. I get butterfly tape sent home. I wore sunglasses for 2 weeks, and it's literally, I mean, it was black from like here to here, like black. Couldn't open my eye for 2 weeks. So that's where, and all of a sudden, we noticed it after. Artificial dimple. I'm not sure why or how, but that's what happened.
That must have hurt.
Wow. Yeah, it hurt. And my parents were up on our deck, like our back deck, which doesn't have, you can't get down to the backyard from there. So I just remember people like screaming. My aunt screaming she was going to pass out. My dad goes, I just ran through the house, down the stairs, grabbed towels off of our washer, and like wrapped your head in a towel.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
So I wish nothing like that upon your children.
Thank God the eye was fine.
Yeah, the eye, I mean, obviously I couldn't see out of it for a few weeks because it was closed. But my vision is totally fine. Yeah, all good. No lingering effects other than the dimple.
All right, Erica, how do we pick? Rock, scissors, paper, flip a coin. What are we doing here?
You make the call.
Go ahead. I'll go last.
All right, again, not ranked. And again, kudos to Jennifer last night who came up with these. In sports PR, you have the wonderful opportunity to do a lot of travel. So over the 35 plus years, we've been able to do that. So we did a count, and I've been to all but 5 states. And it's West Virginia, Mississippi, Kansas, South Dakota, New Mexico, Alaska, 6 states. So 44 to 50 and 5 Canadian provinces. So blessed with all those memories and a souvenir hat from every one of them, of course. Another one is the name Wink McD, a game show host during our conventions. Instead of just the boring panels that you hear all the time, we did game shows, and I was a game show host with a panel, whether it was Family Feud or The Price is Right, a great way for people to engage, and it was a lot of fun. Proposed to Jennifer at Disney. But I think our timing was a little different than most. It was at 1:30 a.m. I had a fanny pack on with the ring, looking for a good opportunity to do so, and finally heard that Mickey and Minnie would be available at 1:30, near the castle. Perfect spot, a.m.
What the hell were you doing up at 1:30 in the morning?
They've just been drinking. They're coming back from a night out.
Well, we stayed on the site at the resort, and so therefore at night you get a discount. So the fireworks at midnight, she's ready to go to sleep. I said, just give me another hour. And then at 1:30 in the photo, I pulled out the ring. Minnie looked surprised. Mickey was surprised.
Oh, that's
it was
cool.
wonderful. And then the paparazzi,
Yeah.
free ice cream. Never forget it. And then she can't call anybody. Now she's mad at me because she can't call anybody.
Yeah, that's true. You got to think about that.
Exactly.
You can't share the news at 1:30 in the morning.
No, you can't. One little thing from the Warriors, we talked about them over the years, but one of the highlights personally was we were in Dallas at a shoot around and I made a half court shot. PJ laughed, didn't think, I mean, to me, it was like a heave, but it went in a half court and Muggsy Bogues and different players came over. Great job. PJ just laughed it off, said, once in a while, you get a little lucky. I don't think I'd ever do it again. And I didn't even win a prize, which really stinks. And
hang on. The fact that you hit a half court shot and freaking Muggsy Bogues came over to congratulate you makes you way cooler than me.
Well, just the fact that PJ had a smile, that's as much as I could get out of him because he lost a bet because it was I had higher odds than the Devils of winning the cup. Let's put it that way. Don't tell that to Chris, of course. Okay. And then the other one is living in New Hampshire and working there. I'm a political junkie, love history and politics, presidential stuff. And, of course, with the primaries in New Hampshire, went to all the different things with media friends, got good, little seats and stuff. So I was able to shake the hands of 3 future presidents, George Bush, his son, and Bill Clinton. And for anybody in New Hampshire, it's a great place in February to be able to hear all the candidates, some of them who you'll never hear from again a month later.
Very cool. Those were good.
Go for it, Sean.
Some of mine are more history. Some are just personality quirks. I have a few. Like, if you ever see me in the grocery store, just get out of the way. I'm rude.
Man on a mission.
Help it. You turn into a new aisle and you see the person with their body looking for something and their cart's behind them blocking the other lane.
Well, that
gets this.
Yep.
To me, it's like you're in a car. You're on a freeway. Do you park your car in one lane and go stand in the other? You're going to get hit.
Right.
I'll sideswipe a cart. I have no problem sending a message. I had thank God I do now delivery and pickup since COVID and all that. I had one years ago. A couple of moms were standing and talking about little Jimmy's recital the night before, blocking my access to the Bartlett Paris. It ruined my day. So yeah, grocery store. It's my store.
Look out.
Look out. And believe it or not, a lot of people may not believe this. You guys didn't know me back then. I used to be one of those most negative people in the world. Unoptimistic. I was going through a little depression back then. I got a little help, changed my outlook on everything, my entire life, day to day. And my life's been different ever since then. It was right before I turned 40. I met my future wife 3 months later. Just amazing how quickly it can turn. Because it sucked. I don't know how I had any friends back then. I hate nuts, and I haven't worn denim in well over 25 years.
Woo!
Can't do it.
That's a good one.
Can't do it. Shorts, and until I'm shorts until really April to November till I can't stand it anymore. But yeah, no jeans, no thanks. And nuts, I've never liked them. I won't eat them. They're gross. Not allergic, just no thanks.
Yeah, it depends on the nut for me. I like almonds in chocolate. I'm not a huge fan of nuts, I guess, but
I like cashews, but I don't think the 3 of us would like mixed nuts because then you're picking out almonds.
I don't like walnuts because they're too bitter. Like if we're talking like street corner in New York where they're like sugar coated and whatever, I'm in. But yeah, for the most part, I'm a hard pass. Like my aunt makes brownies. She's like, do you want nuts or none? Nope. Just make my brownies. No walnuts, no anything.
No, thanks. Yeah, it's a deal breaker.
Jeez, that's a good one. I think Roger, my boss, I don't think he owns a pair of jeans either.
No, I sweat too much. And they're always tight when they come out of the dryer. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, you can't dry them.
I'm a comfort guy, right? All right, listen. Little thing for you soon-to-be college graduates or recent graduates from Uncle Sean. Always, when you go to a job interview, send a thank you card. Always.
Sean.
Going way back when, I was interviewed at the Times Union for a part-time sports clerk job. I didn't get it, but I sent a thank you card to the guy who interviewed me, Bill Arsenal, now retired.
After you didn't get it, or before?
After I didn't get it, actually after the interview, I sent him a card.
Okay.
To thank him for his time, and 3 months later, they called me and offered me the job over the phone. And I asked him, I said, no interview. He goes, no. He goes, I knew I had another opening coming up. You were a finalist. You didn't get it, but I got that card from you and I left it on top of my inbox the entire time. So I had it when I could call you when we knew the other opening was coming. So send a thank you card, kids. Remember that.
Good suggestion.
Yeah, number
Not
one.
an email, a card. Exactly.
A card. Sign your name. Yeah, no email. Don't text. Send a card. Spend money on the stamp. I know it's excessive. 56 cents. I'm going to kill you. The envelope, 10 cents. Take the time. Make the investment. I am wildly stubborn and now optimistic since, the other one I mentioned. As the day is long, I just don't like giving up and all that stuff. And that philosophy helped drive my wife and I through 9 IVF cycles and 12 transfer procedures that helped us deliver twin boys. They were born at 31 weeks. Ashley had them beat. We were 3 pounds 11 ounces and 310. Then we were in the
figured
NICU.
I was going to say with twins a lot of times.
Yeah, we were in the NICU for 6 weeks, but a lot of things went into us having our family now, and our just belief and saying our day is going to come helped us get through 5 years of just like, oh my God, this sucks, but you believe and you keep going forward. And my philosophy was, no one's told me why it hasn't happened yet. So let's just keep going and let's believe. I always meant to believe I was going to be a dad, and I am now ×2. So being stubborn like that sometimes can pay off.
Sure.
Actually, Sean and I had some really wonderful discussions back then. I remember about it because both of us are older parents as well. Mm-hmm. And you just keep believing and you look up there, and sometimes the big guy winks at you. And he blessed Amy and Sean with 2 beautiful boys. So it does happen. Just keep believing.
Yeah. Listen, if we become parents, we're going to be older parents too. So
I think you appreciate it more. At least I can speak that for me. I think you hope everyone does, but I think after kind of getting after a while and trying for so long, I became a dad when I was 50. Yeah. For me at least, I don't want to disparage anybody, the parents, but for me, I think I appreciate it a little more.
Cool.
All right, whiteboards.
Thanks for sharing things.
Sure.
Very enjoyable, great topic.
Can I go last? I forget what your whiteboards are.
I didn't tell you what my whiteboard is, and may I go first? Because I am in just a state of jubilation today.
Sure, go ahead. Jubilate.
Dick
I don't think that's a word, but I made it a word.
Dick Vitale.
It's a rainy day in Carolina. Oh my goodness. Hurricanes.
Was that a flag? Show that again.
No, it was the hurricane symbol.
That's my artwork.
The hurricane flag.
No,
a hurricane.
The hurricane symbol.
You get a lot of stuff there. I've been working on it since the final horn last night. So the Hurricanes are out, and look, any team that beats the Bruins, I'm going to hate. But I don't like the way they went about it. Rod Brindamore on Pugsley's Pit won 2 consecutive Whiny Bitch of the Week awards. So Coach Rod and all you jerks and your fans, and by the way, the fans, I sent a fan, and I can't remember what I said, but it was agitating today. He sent me a 2-word response. No, I sent him a meme of Billy Crystal offering up a tissue because he was whining to Bruins fans that they lost. And his response to me was a bit terse. It was 2 words. The first one started with F and the second one was you. I said, awesome. Have a nice day. But here's my problem with the Carolina fans. To those people that trolled after the Bruins or during the Bruins series, trolled David Pasternak on Instagram, taunting him for the death of an infant son last summer, you're disgusting. And I hope your day sucks today, and I hope the next year sucks for you. So have a nice summer, Canes fans.
It doesn't sound like a lot of positivity from the man who's very positive.
No, sometimes I just have to call it like I see it.
Oh, okay.
It's positive for me because I'm downright giddy.
I know, but you were being a troll.
Well, that's what I do.
You're trolling the trolls.
Yes, and they deserve it.
Without the red, fluffy, tall hair.
They deserve it, though. It's delightful banter.
Okay. When plus is a minus. All right. Friday night, the Orioles had an epic comeback win over the Red Sox. I could not find it. And I get the MLB extra innings package, which gives you every game except national TV games. And I thought, well, it's not on Fox or ESPN. Never mind, because Boston's not playing the Yankees, so they're not on there. Baltimore fans were livid. It's not often that they get to watch a Wild win. They trailed 6-0 after 3, 8-2 after 6, then scored 10 in 3 innings against the vaunted Sox bullpen. Nope, it was on Apple Plus TV. Sorry, I was too busy paddling down a real stream instead of that stream. You could take that stream somewhere. We have Amazon, we have Disney Plus, we have ESPN Plus pretty soon. We will, pardon the word, Ashley, freaking have M&M Plus, where you can come to our own homes and offices for exclusive content. Ashley having Jim Boeheim for dinner. Sean having Ricky Henderson for appetizers. Eric's having Big Papi over for dessert. All this for a small additional fee. So please stop gauging us fans and let us see the games on TV, especially for those who pay for a season-long package. I should not have to miss a game that it seems only Adam and Eve can take a bite of to watch.
Yep, and that is not going to change.
I get the baseball package too, and I tried to set up an Apple Plus username and password. The system wasn't working for me that night. I reached out to their customer service 3 or 4 times. I never heard back, so unoptimistically, I'll say up yours, Apple.
Yeah, we have Apple TV, so we pay for Apple TV Plus because of whatever, and fortunately we get it. But now it's Prime. You get Yankee games on Prime Video, and you gotta pay for all kinds of stuff.
So we promise fans we won't do M&M across the board plus.
Right. Well, because if we do, no one will see it. So.
Yes.
I know we talked a little bit about this, but sometimes we go, away from sports. So because we celebrated Memorial Day, because we just recognized Memorial Day, I've been taught never to say Happy Memorial Day. It's not a happy occasion. We'd like to not say Happy Memorial Day on the news. We say, if you're celebrating Memorial Day, if you're enjoying time with your family, there's one reason for it. We get the day off because of people who ultimately sacrificed their lives to make this country the greatest country in the world. And I know we had a really good conversation last week about the things that are wrong with this country. But on a day like yesterday, it's a good chance to recognize everything that is right about this country and the reason that we have all the freedoms that we have. So for everyone, if you know anyone, you're related to anyone, you're a friend of someone who obviously made the ultimate sacrifice for the 3 of us to do what we do every day, to be able to voice our opinions, to be on this platform. We thank you, and we thank everyone on this Memorial Day, service members, past and present. And thank you even if you are still serving. But Memorial Day is for those who lost their lives serving for our country. So I just wanted to thank everyone because I felt it was appropriate the day after Memorial Day.
It's a nice finish.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. We'll do it again next week.
You got it.
I'm off on vacation. Well, I have to work first today, and then I'm off on vacation for only a couple days. Not a real vacation, but
good for you. Have a good time.
I feel like I'm always the one who's like, I'll see ya. I'm going away. You guys are probably like, get the hell out of here.
You work hard. You deserve it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, this was fun. We'll see you next week, and we'll be into our NBA playoffs and our NHL, our NBA finals, and our NHL Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals. So we'll talk a whole bunch of that next week.
Awesome. Have a great week.
Yeah, you too, guys. See you then.
Thanks for watching.